Well, we're back on Devil's Lake here this week, and you see here just kind of a gray, foggy day. I tell you what, you get gray, foggy days when you're ice fishing on Devil's Lake. Prime opportunity to fish for walleyes all day. Now, there's parts of the lake where you can catch fish during the day, you know, especially if there's stained water, or if you catch fish over deeper water. But in a lot of places on Devil's Lake, you're going to see a classic morning and evening bite. But I tell you what, you get these fog days, and it just extends those bite windows. So I love looking for shallow walleyes in the fog, and you know, perch get a lot of attention, obviously, and rightfully so on Devil's Lake. But if you've ever fished out here open water, you know what kind of walleye populations in this lake. It's just a tremendous fishery. Oh, here comes one. Come on, eat it, eat it. Oh, there he is. Oh, that fish just crushed it. I love it when you can see him through the ice like that. Isn't that cool? Just a good eater. We're on the board. That fish just came up. And what I love about these rattle spoons is when these fish get fired up on those rattle spoons, they just come in and just crush them. But yeah, just a great start, great walleye. Lucky day for that fish, because that'd be just a perfect eater. You know, this is classic fishing, and so what we have here, we're in shallow water, you know, 7 feet, and we talk about how great of a fishery Devil's Lake is in the summertime, and you know, we're catching fish in shallow water. In the wintertime, we're catching fish in shallow water a lot as well. And so behind us here is a real shallow bay. It's like 3 feet, and I think what happens is a lot of leopard frogs come in and migrate in the fall, and so these spots will be good in the fall. So if you have a shallow, really shallow slough that's connected to the lake, a real shallow bay, and that deep ledge right next to it, it's just a high percentage spot to check at early ice. Get rebaited here. I'm actually running lean and mean. I'm just carrying minnows in my pocket. I'm just going right through the top of the head. I'm just pinching it back about halfway, just like that. And I am shaking this spoon hard when I'm working it. Okay, there we go. Oh, nice perch. Oh, that's a bonus. That is a bonus. Oh, love it when these perch show up in shallow water. Usually they're a little bit more aggressive, and usually they're pretty good size. That's a jumbo. Settle down. Just gorgeous colors on that fish. That's one of the prettiest fish. Nice perch, but you know what? They get a lot bigger than that out here. You know, so we're just kind of fanned out here. We've got a few holes up in 5 feet, maybe out to 9 feet of water. That fish just came out of 7. But probably worth noting too, you know, early ice, and we've probably got 6-7 inches of ice out here. And I think it's really important to try to keep your noise down. And so a lot of times we'll just drill a few holes. You can see there's more holes out here, but those holes are from yesterday. I think a mistake we make sometimes as anglers is think, oh, we got to drill all these holes and move around. But if you come through an area and rip 100 holes, you can just blow everything out of shallow water. And so drill a couple holes, see what's there. If you catch a few fish, good. You can drill a few more holes, catch a few more fish, and if it just dies on you and you're not marking anything anymore, sometimes then you can rip a lot of holes to see if you can move the fish a little bit. But definitely part of the strategy is keep your noise down in shallow water. Oh, come on. Fish. There's a good one. Decent walleye. That's pretty cool. Look at him under. Look like a good one?
Yeah, it's a nice fish.
All right. Atta boy.
Look at that. There we go. Fish are acting really finicky this morning. Normally in the shallow water like this, you can really jig it and be really aggressive with them. That one I actually had to kind of stop it. Thing just came up and engulfed it down the hatch. That's a football, chunky 17, 18-inch walleye right there. Whew, there we go. First one for me today.
But you know, probably something worth pointing out is that this shallow walleye pattern on Devil's Lake is not just an early ice deal. I mean, we'll catch fish all winter long. Middle of the winter, January, days are short, it's cold, it's brutal out as far as conditions. You think all the fish move deep midwinter. Not always. There's a lot of times on Devil's Lake where all through the winter, you know, we will find really good walleye bites, whether it's on the main lake, East Devil's Lake, or East Bay. I mean, these fish are shallow all winter long, and so it's definitely worth exploring. And you know, you can find walleyes relating to a lot of different patterns on Devil's Lake, shallow to deep. But I tell you what, when you find these fish up in 5, 6, 7, 8 feet of water, doesn't matter what time of year it is, these fish are generally going to eat.
Feels like a pretty good fish here.
Well, what do you got? That looks like a good fish. Need a hand?
It's spunky.
What do you got there? Sometimes when there's not much ice, it's harder to land them.
It is.
Oh, that's a nice walleye.
It's not.
It's just
a spunky.
Just a nice fish.
There we go. There we go.
Nice. I love when you can see.
Oh, we can
through the
see him
ice.
swimming
Isn't that
around
the
like that.
best? That is the best.
He just barely nipped it. These things are, some are coming in and just whacking it. This one I just had to hold it still and he just barely slipped it in.
Just a chunk of a walleye. I just love the shape of them.
Just footballs, almost like the perch.
Yeah.
Just colored up perfect. Just staging in the weeds. You can tell they're living in the shallow water. Usually when they're darker like this, they're living up in the weeds. Weeds are a very underrated thing. These cattail edges here, it's all we're fishing today. There's no real structure. They're just cruising up and down, dipping in and out of the weeds. Sucker go.
One thing with walleye fishing on first ice, these fish are not pressured. They haven't been bothered for 6, 7 weeks. Nobody's been driving a boat over them. Nobody's been harassing them or trying to catch them. And they load up on predictable spots, which makes them a lot easier to find. Maybe some transition areas. It's pretty crazy how Devil's Lake has so much man-made structure that we fish year-round. And those are key areas to start your search, where it be underwater roads, maybe some gravel pits. There's a ton, millions of trees. A massive lake with a massive quantity of walleyes, you just can't go wrong.
Oh, there, wow. All right. Oh, that's a good fish. Goodness, he just dropped right back down on that. Oh yeah, that's a nice walleye. Look at you can see it through the ice.
See him thrashing?
Look
Oh,
at
that's
that.
cool.
They look a lot bigger down there. Isn't that cool? That is so cool. They are rolling through here.
Yeah, it's picking up a little bit. I literally dropped right back down. Kind of tough to get him turned up there. Oh, there we go.
Hey!
There we go.
Oh, that's a pot belly. I'll even unhook it for you here.
You can even hold it for me.
It's your fish. You hold it there. That is look at that belly on that fish. That's just a chunk of a walleye. Nice.
That's pretty cool right there.
That is.
It's pretty fun when you literally just catch one, put the deucer back in and drop right back down and jig once, the thing comes up and just crushes it.
We are on them. There you go. Yeah.
There we go.
You know, that's the thing is, you know, so we were out here right away, and sometimes right away in the morning you just intense window, but it's just foggy and gray, and we marked a few, caught a few, but these kind of days you can just beat on them all day long. That's what
Yeah, it almost seems like it's starting to pick up even a little bit. I mean, that sun's getting up a little bit, and just a little more light down there, shallow water. I mean, it's a little murky. We actually got better visibility than we normally do up here this time of year, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when these fish are running up and down these shorelines, you know, they're shallow. It's almost like they travel in wolf packs where, you know, you get 1, 2, 3, maybe 6 fish in a pack. You know, they'll squirt by, and then, you know, maybe half an hour later, another pack comes through. And so a lot of times when you find a good hole, when you find a spot where you're catching some fish or marking some fish, sometimes it just takes some tenacity in the sense you just have to focus and bear down on that one spot and just let those fish come through, because if you try to move around too much, you spook them. And the other thing is these fish are just coming through in these small little packs. And what's interesting is it's almost like these fish are following a trail where every school of fish comes right down the same line. And so once you find where that line is and get on it, it's just a matter of bearing down and wait for those fish to move through.
Oh, Dave, you got one? Oh.
Thanks, Alex. Probably a 16, 17.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you can see him. That ice is so thin, you can see him darting around underneath the hole. Pretty cool.
Got you downsized a little bit, and that might have made the difference here.
Early December, baby. I went with a smaller minnow head, and this walleye came up and absolutely smoked it. A nice one.
Yeah, nice fish.
First ice. How big was that last one you caught over there?
Probably about the same size. Oh, this is might even be a little bigger, Dave.
Yeah, nice fish.
That's a chunker.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you.
Good work.
So we're having fun out here in first ice. So these fish that are this fat, you know, we're keeping some 16, 17, 18. Today we're letting them go. We're filming. I like doing autopsies on them. I cleaned one the other day about a week ago, had 13 perch in it this long, swear to God. And then I caught another one that had a frog in its belly and 2 perch. So who knows? They're eating well up here. That's a beauty. What do you think of that, Jace?
Perfect. How many of those have you caught in your life here, Dave?
Lots. Lots. You know, I've fished all over the country, and Devils by far is my favorite. There's so many different ways to catch fish here, all the presentations. It's a tremendous place to teach people how to fish.
It sure is.
Golden Beauty back in the water.
There we go. Good work.
See you later. Thanks.